that issue of the tide turning and things within the ANC shifting, the gap between Zuma and his supporters within the party itself and those who realise that this is a crux moment, a fork in the road moment. Who holds how much power? What's happening? You know.
Well, what's happening is things are changing very rapidly, and I think it would be foolish to try and make predictions because things are moving rapidly. I think they're moving in the right direction. People are beginning to realise that the rot that we're in is unsustainable. That if we do not reverse this, we are going to be in deep trouble very shortly. So I think people are beginning to wake up and say the right things now. Some would say they're doing so belatedly. I would say rather now than never.
And perhaps doing it quite strategically as well for the sake of your own survival politically.
But also, you know, for example, you used the example earlier of Minister Honeycomb. I'm not sure what benefit would be derived from him resigning. What impact would that have? You know, maybe his strategic reflection is that he's doing more good on the inside than being on the outside. And you know, that may be so. But the thing is, pressure must be brought to bear from all sides. And I think the fact that ANC veterans are now speaking out as vociferously as they are, demanding a meeting with the leadership of the ANC, I think it's a good sign that people are saying we need to correct this.
So you're speaking about a sort of snowball effect that's happening now, or a dung ball effect, I suppose is a more suitable analogy for South Africa. But what then is the pushback? I mean, you know, there is a camp here that has a lot to lose if Zuma goes, whether it's now, whether it's, you know, during the NEC next year, whatever the time may be. I think we may have reached the point where we can openly talk about that with some more kind of grounds. What happens? Will that cabal stay?
Well, it's there. I think it's shrinking. You know, Kebim Mpatswe is there, and a few others that are standing up and defending the president. Brian Molefe, with his tears about the Shabin yesterday, are standing up and defending the president. But that number is diminishing, and I think people are realizing that you know, they cannot, in any conscience, continue to support what is happening.
I suppose that's the difficulty, and this often comes up. I mean, I'm very kind of aware of what happens on Twitter, and that can be dangerous because it's a echo chamber sometimes. But the question of being fair on President Jacob Zuma, looking to his conduct and the facts of the matter, and then inevitably questions around state capture pre-1994 come up. And you know, I've heard the argument, well, do we really want to be comparing our democratic kind of legitimate state to one that was founded on a completely baseless and kind of immoral value system? Is that our ballpark? But what do you think to the question of, well, we had a state that was captured before, it was just by a different camp, so, you know, ease off on the complaints and the criticism of Jacob Zuma and the Guptas?
Look, I mean, I think the issue, the standard that we have to judge ourselves by is the standard that we set out ourselves in the Constitution. We've set out very clearly how we wish to be governed as a democratic country of South Africa. And we are failing to live up to those standards and ideals of ethical, principled leadership, open, responsive and accountable governance. State-owned enterprises are corrupted, as is evident from the report of the Public Protector. She goes through the litany of the evidence that is before her, which still needs to be investigated further. But what has been tabulated in that report is remarkable, the extent of the rot. And I think, you know, there is sufficient in that report to demand the immediate resignation, not just of the president, but of Ministers Zwane, Van Rooyen, Lynn Brown, and Brian Molefe.